The indie author revolution has been around for more than a decade, but we indies continue to push the boundaries of what we're capable of. From getting over initial prejudices to staring down perfectionism and author imposter syndrome, we've become a force to reckon with. Indie authors now wear more hats than ever as we strive to create a career full of meaning, prosperity, and potential. We've juggled the demands and continue to be rebels in the face of adversity. Now, after years of hearing the shouts of hustle and grind, we indies are rebelling again. Gone are the days of publishing a book a month until we drop, and in its place are the seeds of a better way to rapid release. A way that feels incredible as we build a sustainable, lifelong author career that not only increases our visibility and royalties, but it's all done with intention and ease. If you're ready to buck the system and become the visionary authorpreneur I know you're meant to be, you've come to the right place. I'm Carissa Andrews, international best-selling indie author, and this is the Author Revolution podcast. Well, hey there, and welcome back to the Author Revolution podcast. I am so glad that you're here this week. So I'm really excited today. I gotta tell you, we learned last week that Author Revolution and Rapid Release Roadmap have officially been granted trademark status, registered trademark status with US Trademarks Office. So I'm very excited to say we are now a registered trademark, and we're in the process of doing the registration for Millionaire Author Coach as well. So this is pretty exciting news to me. It's like we're official. I've been doing this thing for a while. You know this. I mean, I've been doing this podcast since 2019, and all of a sudden it feels like things are starting to come together. Like they're really starting to concretize and become a thing. Anyway, I just thought I'd share the news because I'm very excited about it, obviously. And in the process of all of this, I was just thinking about how, like, my author career, how Author Revolution has evolved and how it's become this thing that is much more solid. It's got a bigger, more, concrete base. This concept of all the stuff that I'm doing has just gotten overall easier, which led me to think about, okay, so easy seems to be the direction that my life, my career is going, where I look at things now that I would have been doing even 5 years ago, and I go, okay, do I need to do this way? Do I really need to spend this much time doing it? Do I really need to focus my energies and efforts on this, or can I just let it be easy? Now, do you ever feel like that? Like you're doing this thing and you're kind of in the weeds with it. You're trying to get it perfect. You're trying to make it all good. And it's not working and it's not coming together. And you just realize that if you let go, maybe it would kind of fall into place. Have you had those moments? I know I have over and over. In fact, I was just doing aspects of my website this past week and it was not working properly. Like Elementor, which is the page builder I use for all of my websites, wasn't jiving. It wasn't doing what I was hoping or wanting it to do and what it should have done. And I finally just went, you know what? I'm dropping the oars. I am leaving my office. I'm going to go do something else. And when I came back, lo and behold, guess what happened? It worked. So sometimes when we struggle too much, when we are doing things that we think are the right thing, because it's like we've been taught and told that in order to do something, you have to persevere, right? You have to be able to push through and keep going. But really, honestly, I think sometimes we need to just let go, just a little bit. And I think a lot of us are actually really, in essence, addicted to the struggle bus. We like to complain. We like to feel like we're doing all the work or that all the stuff is on our shoulders. And then we get that whole martyr syndrome thing going on. Or we want to tell ourselves this story that it has to be hard before it can be easy. But I really encourage you to think about that and challenge that notion. Like, does it really have to be hard? Does writing your books or rapid releasing them or creating a series with a wonderful world, does it really have to be hard? Does it have to be a struggle? Or can we just allow it to be easy? Now, I don't know about you, but here's me. And I think I've talked about this on the podcast before, but I think authors in general, myself included, we love a good challenge, a really good mystery that we can sink our teeth into. So when we are creating our careers and we're trying to figure out who we are, what's our voice, what's our avenue, what is it that we're doing, we want it to be this thing that unfolds, this mystery that we need to solve. And in some cases, I think we are so much addicted to that concept that we don't ever want it to end. I know for me, that was a big thing, even with my books, where it's like when I'm in the world, if I don't have a good plan, if I haven't outlined my books, I can't see the end of the thing because I don't want it to end. I don't want the experience in that world to end. And so it becomes difficult to say, okay, this is where this book, this title wraps up. And so if you're like that, you're probably making your author career a little bit harder than it needs to be, because sometimes we focus on the wrong things anyway. Like, we make every little thing matter. And sometimes it doesn't have to matter. Sometimes it can just literally be a Facebook post, guys. You don't need to spend 2 hours creating something for Facebook. You know what I'm saying? There are things that move the needle forward and some of the things that just are busy work. And I think a lot of us authors, we get stuck in this concept of having to do all the things all the time. Because of the fact that we are solopreneurs, maybe a lot of us are the breadwinners of our family, or we want to be. Maybe there's a lot of social pressure on us to perform because we're rapid releasing all the time for our readers. Maybe we are trying to prove ourselves to our family. Whatever the thing is, we put a lot of pressure on us and we start to struggle. And then when we start to be on the struggle bus train, it's hard to get off. Now, from a law of attraction standpoint, that's because you've activated those vibrations within your reality, within your perception. And in order to get out of that mentality, you have to literally choose the opposite, or choose something that is completely unrelated to do or to become. And I think that's why when you let go of the oars, so to speak, if you're in a rowboat, that's the analogy, guys, let go of your oars and just let the river take you to where it needs to go. All of a sudden, things will flow easier. Sometimes we just need to give ourselves permission to allow things to be easy. Now, I want you to sit with that for a second and really think about, what have you been struggling with right now? What is the author career aspect of your world that has been really driving you bonkers and you just wish you could figure it out, but you haven't been able to do it yet? And it feels like it's such a struggle. Like, feel that in your body for a minute. Really feel it and understand where it's coming from. And then I want you to think, what if you just let that go? What if you let the struggle go and allowed whatever inspired action pops up to be enough? How does that feel? How does it feel to know that you can be guided, even though you don't know all the answers, even though you're not sure how to make it work and you've been trying so hard to make it work for so long? How does it feel to know that if you let it go, the answers are still going to come anyway? Doesn't that feel good? Doesn't it feel like, oh, yes, I want that instead? Because I know for me that was definitely the case. And this year has really brought about that idea, that mentality for me, because I had struggled for a very long time. And it's probably because I have undiagnosed ADHD. I should probably go in and have that checked out because my children are all being diagnosed with ADHD. But for me, it's really not a big deal because it feels like a superpower. It feels like something I can multitask a bazillion things and get so much done. But it also means sometimes that I focus on the wrong things. Sometimes I focus on the stuff that isn't geared towards growth. It's just all the busy work. It's all the things that need to get done based off of what I have perceived need to get done. So you might find me sometimes going through this motion of doing a lot of social media stuff, and then I kind of stop for a bit because I feel overwhelmed with it, or I feel like, is this even reaching anyone? Or do I even feel called to do it this way? And so I start to look at things differently again. And I start to take a step back and try to reorient myself in what's a needle mover versus what is just busy work? What is the thing that I like to do versus the thing I feel like I have to do? Where can I start to bring more ease into my author career, into Author Revolution's career? How do I do this in a way that's going to be feeling good to me as a solopreneur right now? I mean, I have my 2 assistants and they are great. I have Jenny, I have Trina, and that's fantastic. But there's only so much that I can do with them so far. There's only so much I can grow with them. And so there's still a lot that's on my shoulders. And I know as authors, when we are trying to expand our reach, when we're trying to get out there and become more and to be seen more and to have more readers really get to know us and get to know our worlds, we feel like there is this enormous weight on our shoulders to make it happen. And when it doesn't, then we start to feel like that weight is starting to push us down. And my goal for you, my hope for you, is that in this podcast episode, you understand that when you are struggling, you are in opposition, direct opposition to the thing that it is you want. If you are wanting success, you can't struggle through it because the struggle is a completely different energy to the thing that you actually want to do, which is to grow, to have fun, to enjoy. And so in order to get that, in order to have that as your author career, you have to let go a bit. You have to allow ease and happiness and fun back in. You have to make sure you are taking time for you to refill your cup, to refill your creativity wells, to be clear on who you are and what you stand for. And sometimes that feels really weird because you think doing all the things is the thing that's going to get you someplace cool. And I can tell you from experience that in the past 10 years of being an indie author, well, actually it's more than that now. Holy cow, it's like 12 years. But in those 12 years, it wasn't the struggle that finally pushed me over the edge. It wasn't the constant doing of things that finally pushed me forward. It was reaching out for help and getting it through my assistant, Jenny. It was learning to let go a little bit and understand what is sustainable for me. It was in the aspect of, okay, if I want to see growth in my sales and royalties, I need to understand ads. In doing that aspect, in understanding ads, I need to learn how to finally start to scale them in a way that's sustainable for me as well. Growth is inevitable if you allow yourself to be in that mentality that growth is the thing that you're after. It's not perfection. It's not making sure everyone else's needs are met. It's the growth of your own experience, the growth of you as an author, the growth of you as the creator, and understanding how to pull people into your world by doing that. And what happens is when you start to embrace growth for yourself as an author, you do actually call in and magnetize more people to your world. They start to come to you. They start to sense you. They start to see what you're putting out there, and it becomes way easier. And when we allow things to be easy, when we've decided in ourselves that we're going to find the easiest route rather than the hardest route or the most challenging route, the interesting thing is those easier routes open up. You start to see easier ways of doing things. Things become quicker. You are able to write faster, for example. You're able to publish more books a year. You're able to juggle more things without feeling overwhelmed because now you're focusing on the things that make you feel good, the things that light you up and you enjoy. And you let a lot of the other stuff that really doesn't matter go away. Okay? So my tip for you today, as you're looking at your author career, as you're looking at what it is you really want, I want you to ask yourself, number one, are you making this harder than it needs to be? Can you allow it to be easy? Can you look at your marketing aspect of it and go, you know what? I don't understand all the pieces, but I trust that I am going to be guided to the right answers. I trust that the right readers are going to find me right now, and I trust that growth is inevitable. Feel into that and know that that is the case. Trust that process as you're moving forward into your author destiny, and know that that struggle is not ever going to get you to the thing that you really want, because that's not the energy that can do it. It's a completely different vibe. And when you let it go and you start to embrace the fun of it and you start to embrace the joy in doing it, that's where things are going to start shifting. And that freedom and that free-flowing energy of ease is really what you're after anyway, right? The whole reason you're doing all this stuff, the whole reason you're trying to write faster and earn more money is because you want that place, that feeling of ease, of comfort, of security, of knowing that you can do whatever you want whenever you want it, and it doesn't have to be difficult. That's really what you're after anyway. So if that's what you're after, bring it in now. Bring it in and have it be the foundation for your career, rather than doing all the work, and hoping that one day you're going to have that ease. That's an old paradigm. That's that old paradigm that our parents were in, where it's like, okay, you work hard all your life and eventually you're going to get to retire and enjoy life. That's bullshit, guys. We don't want that. That's the whole reason we're doing this. So start to bring in the ease right now. Get off the struggle bus, get off the old paradigm, and start creating your new paradigm right now. One more tip I've got for you is, in this aspect, as you're going forward and as you're doing these things, watch your words. And now I'm not talking about your word count. I'm not talking about your writing. I'm talking about the words in your head. You know, the ones that you say to yourself and you're telling yourself this is difficult, or this is going to be hard, or this takes time, or of course it's going to be a fiasco, or why am I not doing this right, or why hasn't this worked out yet? All of those types of comments or thoughts, they're pointing you in the opposite direction again of what it is you're really looking for, the thing that you're really trying to strive for, which is success, which is that ease again, which is feeling like you have accomplished something that you've set out to do. So you need to let that go. You need to watch your words. And if you catch yourself in those moments, just a quick shift to remind yourself, okay, I get that that's how I'm feeling in this moment. But you know what? This isn't so hard. I actually enjoy a lot of aspects of this work. I enjoy doing my covers, or I enjoy doing the writing aspect of it. I know that I touch readers because they email me all the time, or I can't wait to write the new story because it's flowing into my brain and it's just so fun. I can't wait to do it. Think about all the things, all the aspects, the positive aspects that bring you joy in your career, because that's where you want to focus. That's the thing that's going to bring you the ultimate success that you're desiring. That's going to bring in the money. It's going to bring in the readers. It's going to make things in your life so much easier, because in your daily moments, in the things that you're striving for every week, every day, every new book, it all becomes easier because you've focused and trained your brain in this aspect of understanding what it is you love. You're bringing in all the positive aspects of your career and you're making things easier, and your growth is inevitable. Hopefully that's helpful for you guys. I know for me, I can't say that things have been terribly hard lately. I've actually found things going so much better since I've let go of the oars often. When I find myself trying to paddle upstream, I catch it a lot sooner, and I start to go, okay, drop the oars for a bit. Let's settle. Let's allow things to move forward in whatever manner they need to move forward in, and then I will make better decisions. And then I will do what is necessary. Then I will take the inspired action, knowing that it's the right guidance, rather than me trying to force myself through it. So let me give you an example, actually, before we head out today. We started this Independence Month, and I kicked it off. It was awesome. We were talking about how authors are really wanting to support women's rights, and I wanted to do something as Author Revolution to do the same. And it was fantastic in the beginning, and then when I put out ads for it, of course, all the trolls start coming in. And for me, it was like, okay, wow, this was a different vibe than I was expecting, because I literally picked my audience to be the kind of people who I thought would be seeing this thing, right? People who liked manifestation, people who liked Elizabeth Gilbert or whoever, you know what I mean? It was a very deliberate choice for my Facebook audience, and yet I was still getting the trolls, which was really weird to me. And when that was the case, I was like, okay, maybe the ads aren't the right way to do this. Maybe growing this Independence Month this way is not the right way to do this. And I really kind of did some internal work, and it's not all about the nonprofits anyway. It's about the independence we're all striving for, whether it be with women's rights or whether it be with ourselves as indie authors, which obviously is the whole point of the independence. We want that aspect to grow in our lives. And so I had to get clear on what my priority was for it, and now I've shifted. You're going to start seeing more going out there about the independence for authors. And then the support system of the nonprofits is secondary, because I think that's actually more in alignment with what I was intending in the first place. But I just wasn't clear on it before then. And the ads, the crazy troll people, they help me to see that. So I want you to think about that as you're moving forward. Like, is there something out there that feels hard? And if you just let it go, could you gain more clarity? Could allowing yourself some space and time to look at things, some breathing room, make it easier for you? Or if you just asked yourself, like if you're in the struggle bus moment, can you ask yourself, is there an easier way to do this? Or do I have to be the one doing this? I know I catch myself, here's another one, I catch myself doing a lot of the things that I know one of my PAs could handle. And then I go, why am I doing this thing? Okay, and so literally it's a quick Slack message to one of the PAs and say, hey, can you do this thing? And guess what happens? They go, yep, no problem. They take it over and I can just breathe a sigh of relief and go, that was easy. Do you know what I mean? Like, why do we do this to ourselves? I just don't know. All right, so this week, your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to look for ease in your author career, in your life too. I mean, don't just limit it to your author career, but this is the Author Revolution podcast after all. So for sure in your author career, take a look around. How can you make things easier? How can you soften your criticism of yourself? How can you open the door and hop off that struggle bus? How can you become the author that you are intending to become in the future? How can you be that person right now? How can you embrace the overall essence of that person today? Okay, that's your mission for this week. I want you to be thinking about that and catch yourself when you are focusing on the wrong end of the stick, so to speak. Remember, every desire that we have has two opposite energies, what you want and what you don't want. And when you're focused on what you don't want, even though you think you're looking at what you do want, you're in the wrong vibration, the wrong energy of it. And so you can't get what you want by focusing on the negative side of things. You can't get that good career being in the struggle bus. You can't become the author you really want to become until you shift into what it is that looks like for you. Okay? All right. I want you to have a wonderful rest of your week. I myself am going to be doing a lot of work for Author Revolution. I'm going to be recording module 1 this week for Millionaire Author Manifestation course. And keep an ear out because I'm considering starting up a kind of a live cohort for Millionaire Author Manifestation. And what I mean by that is I have 15 betas who are currently in Millionaire Author Manifestation who are helping me to figure out my mojo for that whole thing. But I might open it up one more time to allow more people into the cohort. And we're going to get started because it's an 8-week course. And so we're going to do it as it's meant to be launched, 1 week at a time in this beta launch before I launch it big time down the road. So I'm doing this one and only live cohort beta launch. So if you're interested in that, make sure you head over to millionaireauthorcoach.com/manifestation to get in on the waitlist for that, because that's where I'm going to be reaching out first. And I will also probably send one email to my email list. So if you are not on the Author Revolution email list, make sure that you get signed up there. In the meantime, as we're getting all of that ready and organized, don't forget the Independence Month is still going on. We still have the courses are stacked, $444 or $44 per month if you wanted to get all of the courses that you've been asking for, that you've been wanting. And in addition, $50 is going to be donated to the nonprofit cause of your choice that helps out women's rights. And don't forget, if you want to download the transcript to today's podcast episode, you can head over to authorrevolution.org/141. Have a great week. Do your best, kick some butt, and go forth and start your author revolution.